Hello, and welcome to today's webinar, C and Infrastructure 2016. This webinar is brought to you by LiveLab Learning, which is a subsidiary of Academic Corp, a wholly software company created to provide world-class training. This is Casey Pruitt, and I'm delighted to be your moderator today. Throughout our presentation, we encourage you to interact with us by typing in questions and comments using the questions pane. We will be answering questions at the end of the presentation. This webinar is being recorded and will be available to you online on our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, search LiveLab Learning on Facebook and like our page to receive the latest information and special offers. When you visit our website, livelablearning.com, there's a complete schedule of upcoming training. Please take note of our upcoming events. On September 30th, we will hold BIM and Beer in Atlanta. October 8th is DBI. Also on October 8th, we will hold Beer in Philadelphia. Please join me in welcoming today's speaker, Kenneth Driscoll.
Hello and good afternoon, and to some good morning. As Casey mentioned, there are these upcoming webinars that you may be interested in. And then also the last one, which would be the October 13th and October 15th, would be Format and Format Pro with Dynamo. So today's presentation is in reference to Civil 3D and the Infrastructure Design Suite 2016. Clearly, Civil 3D is part of the Infrastructure Design Suite. So as we start, some of the things we want to be concerned about is some of today's reality of infrastructure industry. So there's a driving demand for the way we work and how work is traditionally done. So I'm going to talk about some of the challenges that you might be facing within your organization. So the shift towards urbanization is putting more strain on aging infrastructure of all cities in the U.S. So there's a huge investment in infrastructure in most of the largest economies. Yet we're still facing pressures forcing companies to compete for fewer projects. One of the big challenges for infrastructure industry is to kind of align innovative technology where areas that we can have our biggest impact. So whether it's based upon the economy, leveraging innovation technology, or conforming to sustainability regulations, all these drivers point to one solution: the adoption of building information modeling. And if you haven't heard it, building information modeling it's an intelligent model-based process, and BIM is not simply just a 3D model of infrastructure. It kind of serves as a shared resource for information about a specific facility, maybe a road, a highway, maybe a utility network, which really forms the basis for decision making through the project's life cycle. Now, as you stakeholders in infrastructure projects can be beneficiaries of BIM, each has their own view of the information. Many share the same information but have unique uses. Some supply information, others don't. The most important aspect of BIM, I feel, is the information is intelligent and is useful. So with better access to information and the ability to use this information to a better plan, design, build, and manage infrastructure assets. And clearly, we want to be able to do that throughout a project's life cycle. So, the Infrastructure Design Suite is a comprehensive BIM for infrastructure software solution that combines intelligent model-based tools that help you gain more accurate accessibility and actionable insight throughout the project's execution and life cycle, whether it's transportation, land design, utility, water projects. With the Infrastructure Design Suite, you can improve project delivery, maintain more consistent data, and also respond more quickly to changes within that process. Clearly, they're smarter, faster, and mobile. So one way of improving project delivery, again, build infrastructure models with the ability to access more data, incorporate detailed models from products such as Autodesk Revit, Map3D, 3ds Max, Navisworks, amongst others. You have the ability to improve, incorporate detailed data from 2D drawings, 3D CAD models, GIS, City GML, and also raster design. So you should be able to take advantage of these types of data and integrated geospatial analysis to support any project making decision that you have. Clearly, a project is not just about one product. Better analyzing the existing conditions, maybe combining raster and GIS and CAD data. Civil 3D evaluate slope, aspect, elevation, project area. Help identify environmental sensitive areas such as wetlands, and also being able to perform buffer analysis with Map3D to help identify priority project locations. Also, you'll also have InfraWorks 360. It's available. Some of the benefits of the infrastructure InfraWorks 360 offers you foundational sketching and modeling capabilities for creating 3D models of an existing environment and generating data-rich design concepts. So all that I just made reference to with raster design, Civil 3D, Map 3D, and Revit can be used within InfraWorks also. So the ability to sketch roads, bridges, water features more directly with your model. And also being able to create these in proposals with design concepts within a single model. As you know, the ability to conduct comprehensive environmental analysis is very important. And today, that process is much faster. And this slide kind of illustrates how you can work with data natively from CAD and GIS data formats, including Bentley, including Esri, and also Esri Arc SDE, managing a database. That database which has spatial data stored in it, also in Oracle. And then also coordinate systems. So we'll take a look at some of those things. So again, this really enables you to minimize data conversion, data loss, data copies, and stagnant data. So powerful visualization tools, as you clearly can see, they're always going to be a key component of competitive differentiation and more quickly the ability to capture necessary project approvals. By doing these things and communicating these designs for project proposals to stakeholders, we know it can be very time consuming. Within the Infrastructure Design Suite, we can complete these compelling visuals that help us develop directly from project data into the stage of your project. Also near photorealistic renderings and animations to help better communicate our project information to stakeholders and clients. So we also want to be able to maintain more consistent data, context, and processes. Let me stop right back there, and we'll jump back to my current slide here. So the ability to, some of the benefits of the Infrastructure Design Suite. So clearly you can see civil, utility, structural, automated machine guidance, forwarded sequencing and scheduling, estimation, documentation, construction simulation with Navisworks, also visualization with 3ds Max and InfraWorks 360, field survey, geospatial, and also reality capture. So again, clearly, the ability to utilize and perform class detection, 4D sequencing, helps minimize the risk of finding problems once and in the process of construction, and also once construction begins. So the value of the model can be extended into a maintenance operation as well. So performing storm and sanitary analysis. So you have tools included in the Infrastructure Design Suite, such as Autodesk storm and sanitary analysis software, which helps you perform hydrology and hydraulic analysis for planning and designing urban drainage systems, including highway and sanitary sewers. Also, storm and sanitary analysis allows you to simulate and also model complex hydrology, hydraulics, and water quality. So it can be used for highways, subdivisions, bridges, culverts, sanitary, pump stations, lift stations, and also force mains. There's also a document that kind of shows all the capabilities of SSA that's loaded onto your machine once you load the Infrastructure Design Suite. You also have river analysis. With river analysis, you're able to automate HEC-RAS cross-section data, water surface analysis, floodplain mapping, and all that's related to modeling tasks. Also, with the river analysis, you can utilize numerous automation mapping tools, perform sophisticated bridge and culvert analysis, and also perform automated bridge scour computations for FH, Federal Highway, and State DOT studies. And then, more importantly, you have the ability to generate floodplain and floodway maps for FEMA and other agency submittals. You also have the ability to integrate geotechnical borehole data, streamline the import, use in documentation of borehole data, also included in Infrastructure Design Suite. Also, Civil 3D, the ability to bring in bridge models, create bridge models, export out back and forth with Revit within Civil 3D. Also the ability to generate corridor models and existing ground surfaces. So Civil 3D, as we all should be familiar with, has the ability for alignments and profiles from key bridge streams to pull out girders and top of barriers. And finally, again, pushing the data back to Civil 3D to Revit and back and forth. So bridge types, girders, steel or concrete, and then also bridge elements for abutments and piers, bridge decks and barriers. And then Civil 3D bridge widths, ability to put in cross slopes based upon your corridor model, and then pier and abutments. You also have rail, which allows you to import switches from customizable libraries of switch content into Civil 3D alignments, and then also being able to append those alignments, and then being able to modify those in reference to switches, also define turnouts and modify the switch library. Now, how do we respond more quickly using BIM and the Infrastructure Design Suite? Well, we also have the ability to design faster, incorporate faster models, even when those changes happen at the last minute. Design elements such as profiles, alignments, corridors, as well as annotation labels are interrelated and dynamically linked, so when one change is made, others are quickly, you can see their impact on that project. For example, for design profile changes, we'll immediately see the effect in the corridor, and we'll take a look at some of those things. And also, you also have the ability to save time and reduce numerous errors and omissions by introducing design changes when they're entered manually. We also have the ability to style and layer, set up visibility standards. This gives you more time to spend optimizing your design and less time worrying about how something should look. So standards are easily imported from a template to allow you to get more work done. We also have simulate 4D construction, the ability to perform quick quantity takeoffs, model and compute earthwork volumes, and deliver high quality models to contractors. Simulate construction processes and 4D construction sequences to optimize staging and scheduling. And then, of course, delivering construction documents for projects that could be time-consuming, error-prone. Again, the ripple effect through related design changes are throughout Civil 3D. So, and then also being able to use built-in wizards that allow you to take advantage of management tools, configurable styles, standards, and sheets and sheet sets. Okay. Also included in the Infrastructure Design Suite, we have Navisworks. Within Navisworks, we can utilize clash detection, interference of management capabilities. If interferences are identified, the link back to the Civil 3D model enables engineers to more quickly update designs and documentation. So projects holistically model constructability and perform clash detection. With teams, you can more effectively identify errors early in the process to help you minimize project delays and rework. Also, we have design electrical distribution networks, design overhead and underground structures, electrical components, built-in configurable rules, workflows, and standards, and also conduct engineering analysis to size facilities. So really the ability to improve design accuracy, analyze, optimize networks for greater performance and reliability. We also have a more comprehensive BIM workflow in reference to using intelligent industry models straight out of the box with the Infrastructure Design Suite. So GIS and asset management, network analysis, and connected facilities. More comprehensive BIM workflows. So let's start with InfraWorks 360. You can go anywhere in the world, grab aerial photography, topo data, road information, anywhere in the world. In the early stages of an infrastructure project, teams can more efficiently generate quality comments and have a solid understanding of design concepts with InfraWorks 360, collectively with Civil 3D. Again, InfraWorks 360 offers a foundational sketching and modeling capability. Also, you can use more quickly develop design concepts in detail to help stakeholders better decide for possible projects. Once an agreement can be reached, then you can push that data straight from InfraWorks into Civil 3D, where you can model, analyze, and document that data that came from InfraWorks. Also from Revit. And last but not least, you also have the ability to work with 3ds Max. By making visualization as an integral part of your design process, teams can better evaluate and communicate design stages also. Content in 3ds Max retains its relationship with the 3D model from Civil 3D. So As the project evolves and the design model is refined, those changes can be easily incorporated back into the existing visualization, minimizing the need to rebuild over and over again. And not only Navisworks can simulate as a part of the Infrastructure Design Suite. Also with InfraWorks 360, you have the ability to utilize traffic analysis. And last but not least, also using raster imagery, creating vector objects, text from scan drawings, other images, old TIFF images, cleaning up raster images with image editing tools, also the ability to edit, transform, and create georeferenced images. Raster being used on any AutoCAD platform. And not only do you have those numerous products, you also have Autodesk Utility Design. Coupled with Map3D, the ability to run queries for existing GIS and asset information into CAD, also design new and updated utility networks, and also tie into an asset database so you can edit, modify, and also design from as-built information. Clearly, a common challenge is always updating as-built records once a project is complete. This is where Map3D and AutoCAD Utility Design can really help. Hypothetical project, typical processes outlined, establish connection GIS database, set up mapping, design new distribution network. When the design is complete, reconnect to the database and merge those changes. Clearly, visualization from InfraWorks, we'll take a look at that also. I'll go back. Clearly, visualization from InfraWorks, more economical and convenient. Ability to access data, utilities underground. So as the owner and manager of this data, you want to be able to respond to requests for information. It's important to provide requesters with accurate data so they can better understand as-built information and they can communicate that to stakeholders. These requests could be from operations to maintenance teams to scheduling maintenance activities. So again, whether it's utilities, city departments, or a private contractor, you have the ability to provide them with a network of information that makes it easier to understand. Clearly with Map3D, you also have the ability for GIS back and forth from Esri. So you really could provide a compelling 3D visualization that helps individuals or recipients to better understand all these results in reference to this model. Okay. The Infrastructure Design Suite. You have the standard, a premium, and ultimate part of the Infrastructure Design Suite. And then clearly, we want to be able to talk about Civil 3D and Infrastructure Design Suite demo. So as a and here, we want to just take a look at what you get in the Infrastructure Design Suite. So you can see in the standard suite, you get AutoCAD, Map3D, Raster Design, and then Navisworks, Simulate, and Autodesk Recap. In the Premium suite, you get Civil 3D, Revit Structure, Utility Design, 3ds Max, Navisworks, Manage, Revit, and Robot Analysis, and then also with Layout. I made mention of the Bridge Technical, Geotechnical Model, and River Analysis. Those are with subscription. And clearly, if you get the Ultimate suite, you get everything composed of the standard, premium, and the Ultimate Suite. So you get everything composed of the Standard and Premium within the Ultimate Suite. And clearly, these come also. Okay. So what I want to be able to do is, because I don't like to PowerPoint to death, just want to go through a few things in reference to some of the tools that you get with the Infrastructure Design Suite. So clearly we have Civil 3D here. And one of the things we want to kind of take a look at is the ability to bring in data. So let's think about what we typically get. Let's say we have an architect and he gives us this kind of temporary site plan. So one of the things that we are able to do, I'm just going to open up a drawing as if I got a temporary site plan. So let me come in here. I'll make it nice and simple. So this is the typical workflow that a user would possibly go through. So I'm just going to go to my AutoCAD workflow, and then this simple drawing. We have a building plan here. So one of the things that we want to do is, this mall has an expansion that's planned, a proposed expansion, and we also want to produce a proposed intersection and layout. So one of the things I want to do, I'm going to open up another drawing. I've just received this drawing from an architect who's got some distances and let me zoom in. It's got some distances measured across in terms of a quick little site plan. But me as a civil designer or engineer, now I need to come in. So one of the things we want to be able to do is create this intersection of this road here, and then also create center lines for this road, and then what this building would look like. So this project was done at some point, so we have kind of this site plan. So the first thing I want to be able to do is I want to be able to utilize some project data. The data comes from Esri, MicroStation, and other file formats. So to show you how flexible you're able to work within Civil 3D, I'm just going to go to my project data. So let me just pick on that. One of the really nice things that you're able to do with Civil 3D and data, so I'm going to come to my base data right here. I have shape files, I have a surface file. So just as an example, if I go into my shape files, within Civil 3D, and you do know that Civil 3D is built on AutoCAD and Map 3D. So the first thing I want to be able to do is, I just want the ability to bring in some parcel data, just to make myself aware of what's going on. So I do have the ability to bring in parcel data with Civil 3D. And that parcel data is a shape file. So again, I want to really try to develop a concept plan. So Civil 3D is built on top of Map 3D, and as you will see, as I pull in data, I'm just going to cut on my map task pane. So something real quick, you can see that I have city parcels. So one of the things that Map 3D allows you to do, again, for quick access, Map 3D allows you to go in and stylize based upon attributed data that's been brought in from an Esri shape file. So under the property, maybe I want to select zoning. I have a PDU. So under PDU name, I'm just going to put it in, and then I'm just going to select OK. So something really quick. So whether it's a university, whether it's a village, whether it's a Valley Memorial Homes, whether it's a campus, all these can be accessed and displayed in my map. And the beauty of working with Map 3D, sometimes you just want to be able to work with data within a specific area. So you do have the ability to go in and select a location map. So anything inside of this area I want to use with my mapping. Pretty straightforward. And if I wanted to cut that off, it's pretty straightforward. So the ability to drag and drop data specifically onto my map gives me a lot of flexibility. So go back to base data. Maybe I'm talking SDF files. So one of the things I need to be able to do is come in and kind of define, what this site looks like. So I just have a DTM contours SDF, so spatial data format. I'll just drag it right in. Here's my contour map. So pretty straightforward. Flexibility in reference to data that you're working with in terms of Map 3D to develop this concept plan. So at any point in time, I could cut those contours off. So I have the ability to drag in, just dragging and dropping in layers of information. So even if I wanted to drag and bring in all the buildings in a specific area, I have a lot of flexibility in terms of creating this concept map that I'm working on. So we've seen those contours. One of the things I want to be able to do is I want to be able to develop a topo from those contours. So what I've done in reference to time purposes, I'm going to start working with Civil 3D now. So I really don't need my map to have pane up. I know I can bring in pavement, generate flood plains. So a floodplain, something as simple as a 100-year flood, I can bring that data in also to kind of delineate what's going on with my site. So again, a lot of flexibility in terms of what you want to be able to display as you're creating this concept plan. So now let's think about what we can do with Civil 3D. Because we have the map functionality, I can bring in, again, parks, greenways, pipes, pipe networks, river locations, 100-year flood plains. We know we can do that. But now we're looking at working with Civil 3D. So we're beyond the map part. Now we want to bring in data to kind of do detailed design. So one of the first things that I want to do is I want to bring in some points. So I'm just going to select up here my little handy button here, import points. So before I import these points, one of the things that we typically run into is we just open up a drawing and we just kind of say, okay, I'm ready to start. But again, working with Civil 3D, we want to slow down and consider the fact that, Civil 3D works with the idea of working with styles and how things are presented. And you clearly can see I got this drawing from an architect, so I just have really an AutoCAD drawing. So what I want to be able to do is, one of the things I mentioned in the PowerPoint is you have the ability to pull in a template that gives you styles so you can have standards to represent your company. So I'm just going to save this drawing. No big deal, just a quick save there. And then on my Manage tab, I have the ability to import a template file. So let's go ahead and select a template file. So if I come in here, and typically it would default to the specific folder here, but to kind of show you where some of these things are located under Autodesk, and then if I scroll down, there's my Civil 3D ENU support, all the files that are necessary. And then if I come back to my local, just to kind of show you here, application data local, Autodesk C3D 2015 ENU, under template, I can pull this AutoCAD Civil 3D template. So clearly, we don't have any styles in this drawing. I'm just going to select open. It's going to run the process of analyzing that drawing, and then it's going to show me all the different styles that are going to be added to my drawing. I'm just going to select OK. Then I'm going to select OK again. And then a couple seconds later, as you see the little bar down there accumulating and importing styles. Then it's verifying those imported settings that is pulling in. And then it says successfully imported 543 styles, 1,400 settings. Then I'll select OK. That's all I have to do to bring in styles into Civil 3D. One of the most fundamental headaches that users who work with Civil 3D, they get drawings from users who don't have Civil 3D, and then they have to create all their styles. This is the simplest way to get all the information from a Civil 3D template that you can utilize in a BIM environment quickly. So now that I have all my styles, I'm ready to bring in some points. So the ideal behind points is so I can generate from my points, which is a survey, a topo. So again, up at the top, I'm going to import points. So something really quick, import points. And I'm going to come to my folder here, and I'm just kind of jumping around, which is what a typical user would be doing, to find data. So I'm going to go in and find the small survey, and I'm just going to select open. And then what Civil 3D wants you to do is match the data in reference to the file to this file format that can be brought straight into Civil 3D. And I'll just select OK. And then it'll take a second here. And now you can see some form of dots that have been generated on my drawing. So again, because this drawing was created with Map 3D, it's kind of set up for everything that's standard. But if I come to my Prospector tab and I go to Point Groups, All Point Groups, I'm going to right-click and go to Properties. And as you can see, it's imported all my points into my drawing that has elevations for me to generate the topo. I'll select OK. I'll right-click on all points, go to Properties. I'll go ahead and set up now how I want my points to be displayed. I'm just going to say Point Style Basic, and then I'm going to select Point Number, Elevation, and Description. And I'll go ahead and select OK. And it'll take a second. So now these points look a little bit different, but they're still minuscule in terms of size. So again, coming from that AutoCAD drawing that someone gave me, I maybe just want to come in here and change my scale in terms of what I wanted to utilize. So right here, I don't have a scale that's kind of set for imperial and decimal, so I'm just going to create a custom scale. And I'll just come in and add, and I'll say I want a scale that 1 inch equals 50 feet. And I'll just say 50 feet. And I'll select OK. And then I'll come in and I'll select that scale, 1 inch equals 50 feet. And it'll take a second. And one of the things in the PowerPoint that I mentioned, that everything's dynamic, it's related. So now the scale of my drawing, any of my labels or my text dynamically updates. Okay, so now that I have my points, and I really don't need to display these points, just wanted you to see the ability to be able to scale these points on the fly dynamically. So I'll just go right back under points, go into properties. I'm going to select none, and then I'm going to select none, because I don't really need to see my points, because the ideal behind what we want to get across with the Infrastructure Design Suite is that we're moving to this BIM process in terms of things that we're building. So we want to build this model based upon points. So I'll just go over here on the surfaces, select create a surface, and I'm going to call that existing topo. 2 and 10 background is going to be fine for my style. I'm just going to go ahead and select OK. I'm going to go over to my prospector tab. I'm going to expand my existing topo, and then I just want to build that topo based upon the point group that I just brought in called all points. I'm going to select OK. Existing topo. So pretty straightforward, but now I have this model built. And I can get really defined in terms of what I want to do, but you can clearly see that there's a topo for a site that's built there. So one of the things I wanted to be able to do is we have this ideal of this intersection down here. So with the Map 3D, we're able to bring in our building expansion for the mall. So we have a location there. If I picked on it, you can see there's just line work that's been brought in for my location of the mall. So it's kind of dimensioned out right on top of where the architect wanted it to be. And now I want to look at, because I'm in design mode, I want this intersection. So with this intersection, what I want to be able to do now is I want to insert a block. Because, you know, I could go back to map and kind of drag in pavement. If I go back one time, under shapes, I can come in here and say I want all my center lines. There's my center lines. But what I've done, and I'm just going to undo that one back. What I've done is I've just kind of created, you know, a small center line area based upon that shape file, because I can extract. One of the neat things, and I'm just going to do a redo real quick. I'll come right back in. One of the really nice things you can do now in 2015 and 16, if I pick on my shape file and I right click, you can check this feature out, and you can also edit this feature. So you can see that it has geospatial data that's contained in my features that you're able to utilize now within Map 3D and Civil 3D. So I'm just going to come back, and then I'm just going to insert a quick block. We all know how to do that in AutoCAD. So I'll just come in, and we'll just insert a quick block called center lines. And I don't need to specify it on screen. I'll just pop it right in there. So there's my block. I'm just going to explode it one time, no big deal. I got a center line here, and I got one here. So the idea behind this BIM, modeling information, and if I did something as simple as this, drew a line through the site, picked on this line, I just come right over here and say, picked on this line, just come right over here and say, I want to do a quick profile. A quick profile, you mean an actual profile of this site? I can generate an actual profile. So if I come back, pick on that, just erase that line, and it erases my profile. If I come to my existing ground topo, I'll come to surface properties, and you can see I have modeling information that's been built. So the idea behind BIM and information modeling, we're building models. So if I zoom in, if I pick on my polyline, I just want to create an alignment from it. I'm going to create an alignment from polyline. I'll pick on it. It's showing me the direction that it's flowing. I'm just going to hit enter. I could give it design-based criteria if I wanted to. I'm just going to go ahead and call this east-west. And it creates my alignment. Pretty straightforward. Generate horizontal geometry that quick within Civil 3D. I'm going to create another alignment from a polyline. I'll pick on it. It's showing me my direction, arrow. I'm going to hit enter. That's acceptable. I'm going to call this north, south. I'm going to select OK. I got some exclamation points there. The exclamation point really makes reference to my design-based criteria, and I am not even going to use that in reference to my alignments. So no big deal. The thing that I want to be able to do is I want to be able to generate a profile. So if I pick on my alignment, or if I go up here to the top, the profiles, I'm going to select create profile from a surface. It shows me my east-west alignment and also my north-south. I'm just going to use my east-west first, add the topo, draw it in a profile view, and then I'm going to select first view, and I'm going to select create profile view. And I'm just going to pop it in right there. So this profile, I'm creating a profile here. I also want to create a profile for my north-south alignment. For my north-south alignment, I'm going to add to it, draw it in a profile view, and if you look in here, you can see the minimum and maximum. I'm just going to do something really quick for time purposes. You can see if I go next, it's showing me the length of my alignment, and then the profile height. And then I'm going to cut on my profile display options, and then existing, and then I could just select create profile view. So no big deal, create profile view. One of the things we want to be able to do is create an intersection. So again, this information modeling that we want to work with now, and I can just come back in here and say 1 foot is an inch and kind of clear that out. And I know my labels are here, but because I have this model, I'm not too concerned about what I don't see right now. The big thing that I want to be able to get across is this idea of working and creating this intersection. So straight out of the box of Civil 3D, I'll just come up here and select create intersections. So clearly I can go in and define my finished grade for my intersections, which would be typical in terms of creating a finished grade, but I just want to create this intersection. So you see I can hold my cursor here and it's kind of showing my intersection in terms of what it would look like. So just as an example, because we do have time parameters, I'm going to create this intersection without creating my finished grades. Just want to see what it looks like, because we want to be able to do things really quick and professional. So I'm just going to select my intersection point, my two alignments crossing. Then I'm going to pick my east-west row first. And then it brings up this dialog box, and it says, well, we're going to have an intersection here. And we can have it primary row crown or all crowns maintained. So I'm going to go extreme and say primary row crown maintained. Then I'll go next, and it's grabbing my information automatically based upon what I created from my alignment and my profile. Again, the idea behind BIM is it's part of a process in terms of a model being built, and then you utilizing the data that's contained in the model. So I can go in and change my curve returns, as simple as that, and then it's going to grab information from my sub-assemblies that are right out of the box. Then I'll just go ahead and select create And then it says, well, wait a minute. You have specified dynamic profiles for secondary roads. What do you want to do? I don't have a finished design profile. So I'm just going to create intersections with dynamic profiles. I'm going to let it do me. Let it do it. Because they may not match and they may cause uneven surfaces. But I just want to get an idea of some of the tools in reference to BIM. So I'll select create intersection. And clearly, I'm not on the intersection. So it gave me a couple things in reference to what's not found. But for the most part, it's created that intersection. So how long does it really take you to do that and build a model in AutoCAD or in one of these other products that may be out there? So if I go ahead and select Object Viewer, you can see not only did it create that intersection, but it also rendered it. And if I zoom in, you can see not only my intersection, but you can see curb and gutter also. So if I pick on this intersection, I can go up here to the top and select corridor surfaces. I'm going to create a corridor surface. This time I'm going to make it 2 and 10 design. And I'm just going to add just the top because I just want the finish grade at the top. And then I'm going to select to kind of shrink wrap the boundary of that corridor. Then I'm just going to select OK and select rebuild the corridor. And now I've built a surface for my corridor. So if I pick on here and select my corridor, I'm going to right click and select Object Viewer. And there's my surface. And we're just going to come here and say Southwest Isometric. So there's my surface model. So what I want to be able to do is if I come to my Settings tab, if I right click on my drawing name, you can see that this drawing has a coordinate system. And the beauty of working with a coordinate system in Civil 3D and this model is, now I want to be able to, as an example, if I pick on my corridor, and if I look down here on the corridors, I want that to rebuild automatically. I'm just going to pick on it and drag it out to here, something simple. And move it out a little bit. And then I'm going to pick on this point here, just kind of move that down a little bit. So I have this intersection built. What I want to be able to do is on this corridor surface, on the 2 and 10 contours, I'm going to edit this surface. I'm going to cut on slope arrows and slope arrows in my model. Kind of give you an idea of what's happening with my intersection. I'm going to select apply, select OK, select apply, select OK. Look at that surface model. If I come to Object Viewer, and there's my intersection. Again, building information modeling. So maybe I want to do some analysis now. So if I select Analyze, I'll just create this volume dashboard. I'm going to create a quick volume surface, and I'm just going to call it volume. In this volume surface, I don't even need to have a style. I don't have to display anything. I know I have this model that I'm working with, which is my existing topo as my base, my finished grade, which is going to be my corridor surface. I'm going to select OK. I mean, how long does it take you to generate volumes? in terms of cut and fill. Information modeling. It's where it's at. It's where it's been. It's going beyond. Again, the Infrastructure Design Suite comes with multiple tools that not only this process of BIM, but to design, create, and get projects out a lot faster. So typically, we run through the process of creating this data, and then what I typically want to be able to do, we can see also we have hydrology, storm sanitary analysis, also storm, and then also the ability to bring in data. So I have a Trimble for survey. So all the way from the beginning process of a project all the way to the completion. So when I say completion, just to finish this off, I'll shut this down, and I don't need that. When I say completion, when I come up here to my Manage tab, I can create data shortcuts to share data with design. Also, on my Outline tab, I can say I want to create sheets. So I want to use my east-west alignment, and I'm going to do this really quick. I'm just going to use a template. I'm not going to get crazy out here in reference to my template. So from my sheet set, I need to grab a sheet. So my plan production sheets, it's going to grab a plan production sheet. And then I'm going to say it's going to be 20 scale. Then I'm going to select next. I'm just going to go through the defaults. And then I'm going to select create sheets. How long does it take to create sheets in Civil 3? Then I'm going to come in, I'm going to save this drawing. And then I'm going to select create sheets. I'm going to select next, next, next. I wanted to show my existing topo. I don't want it to show a volume in there. I don't want to worry about the profile. So now select create sheets, and it says this process drawing will be saved. And I'll just pop them in right up there. So, as you can see, something funny on my screen, and the corridor is updating, and things are going on. Then it's saying my surface is out of date for my volume. That's okay. I'm just going to come in here to this. Well, I'm not going to do the first sheet or the second sheet, maybe the third sheet. So I'm just going to double click on the third sheet. How long does it take to create plan and profiles with a sheet in terms of what you're doing right now? So this process of BIM not only allows me to make design decisions faster, more accurate, less omissions, but it also allows me to get plan and production work out faster. So if I can create an intersection, if I can create a concept plan, if I can bring in buildings and site work in less than an hour, I know you can too. So thanks for your time. I wanted to address questions if there are any questions, and let's open it up to questions.
It doesn't actually appear that there are any questions. Does anybody have any questions for Ken? If you do, you can put them in the question pane now. Okay, Ken, I'm still not seeing any questions, so I think that we can probably wrap up. If anyone does have any questions later on, feel free to give me a call or email me. Thanks again for joining us, and we hope you found this webinar informative and helpful to your business. We look forward to joining our next webinar on winning more infrastructure design work rapid 3D modeling, visualization, simulation, and stakeholder communication. Thank you.